So there are several questions on the NESI that ask students about how many hours do you spend in a typical 7-day work week doing the following activities. And so we took all of those activities and put them on the same chart so we could see where students' time is going. The blue line with the box on it is how many hours a week do you spend working for pay on campus. So you can see about 77% aren't working for pay on campus of our seniors. We have the data for our freshmen too, and we've done some comparisons there. But we wanted to just look at the seniors. The red line there is about how many hours are you working for pay off campus at a job that is off campus but probably in the same town. Dependent care is the green line with the triangle on it. Okay? And that is defined as caring for your children, spouse, or parents. And then in the co-curriculum is the purple line with the X through it. Okay? So how many hours a week are you putting in on athletics, your recognized student organizations, band? Okay? Your social life is the teal line with the star in it. And we could see a little peak there on the social life, that, going to parties, going to movies, playing games on your computer, entertainment, all of those kinds of things. How much time, the orange line, how much time are you spending a week commuting? You can see most of our students are counting, walking to class, walking between classes, walking back to their apartments and residence halls. But it's less than 10 hours a week in that commute. And then the line that will make some of you sad, the light blue line, how much time do you spend a week studying? Studying is defined as working in labs, writing papers, reading your textbook, doing homework, anything associated with academics that do not take place in the classroom. And you could see no one said they were spending 0 hours, but the highest percentage, a little over 50%, are spending less than 10 hours a week on the studying. So probably a little work could be done here in terms of encouraging our students to spend a little more time on the studying. Okay? At least as much time studying as they are commuting would be nice, and the commuting is still a little higher than the study line. Okay, as Kimberly said at the beginning, we wanted to let you know that CORE doesn't just sit around and look at numbers and make pretty charts, although that's one of our favorite parts. But we've basically got several subcommittees. We're going to talk about 3 of those subcommittees today that are working on initiatives and have been for the past couple of years. We didn't just throw this away. A couple of years. So the first one we're going to talk about is the continuing students. So students who have come here, we want to keep them, and how do we make sure that we keep them? One of the things we started looking at was when our students are registering. And about 1.5 years ago, we saw that in finals week, we still had several hundred students who had not yet registered for spring semester. And so panic ensued, and we're like, we're going to have like a 60% retention rate, and it's going to be terrible. And so we decided to start looking at that. So we've been sending out email reminders to students, hey, you need to register. If you have a hold, here are some things you can do to clear that up. Have you not seen your advisor yet? Here's, you need to get your PIN from your advisor. Here's how to do that. And then at the end of the semester, we started sending out surveys because we wanted to know if they're not coming back, where are they going? What are they going to be doing? Or have they just not gotten around to it yet? So we set up an email survey that we sent out after grades came in so we could remove students that we invited not to return who were dismissed in a given semester. And we've been looking at all of that data. Okay. We have also sent the list of students who are not registered to their department chairs. We say, hey, here are your majors who have not yet registered. Do with this information what you will. And they have reported back to us that they are doing a variety of things dependent upon the major, how many students they have. Some of them are making phone calls. Hey, you need to come in. You skipped your advising appointment. Or you need to come in and talk to us if you're thinking about making any changes to that schedule that we talked about back in September. Some of them are sending out emails, again, to their students. And let's face it, an email from a faculty member in their department or from their chair has more weight than something that comes from CORE. Okay. Some of them are having face-to-face discussions. Some of the smaller departments are seeing students in the hallway and saying, hey, you're on my list. Why have you not registered yet? Come see me. Let's talk about your schedule. So those are some of the things that the Continuing Student Initiative is doing.
And so one thing that CORE has been talking about and we're working towards right now is trying to put together a strategy for students that we're going to deem as financially at risk. You know, we have our academically at risk. Now we're going to look at them at financially at risk. And so we're looking at that in a variety of things. Have they paid off their bill? What's the gap between their financial need and what they've been able to receive, those types of things. And so this subcommittee right now is working on trying to put together what that might look like, both educationally, how we connect to them. If we do connect to them, who should we send them to for help? But probably the biggest thing we've been working on is how to notify students earlier about holds. We do know that when we put the financial hold on, a number of them will get in the next 2 weeks and take care of that, and it lifts. And we find ourselves looking at December, you know, kind of those last couple weeks before the end of the semester, really with the number of students that really are in a situation where they have just a financial gap and they're struggling to figure out how to pay off that bill. And so what we're looking at is trying to get really good, accurate data about that, how much it is. And then the one thing we're going to launch this semester is a survey out to those students saying, we know you're not registered. We're pretty sure it's because you have a hold. You know, how do you think you're going to move through handling these finances? And then what they could use as help. And so we're just in the part where we're trying to gather some additional information so we can build a strategy to help students that are in this situation.
As Kimberly suggested, it's kind of a no-brainer. Students who are not doing well academically don't always stick around to graduate. And so our academic at-risk students are the most endangered around campus because they are the ones that probably aren't going to be retained. In fact, there's about a 20% gap between the students who are academically at risk, not doing well academically, and the average freshman to sophomore retention rate. So one of the things that CORE has done is set up a definition for the at-risk student. Are there things that we can tell when they're coming in or very early on in the process related to whether they're going to succeed? And so we've set 6 bits of criteria that we're looking at. The first is some of our minority students have lower retention rates than our Caucasian students. It's just a fact that the numbers bear out. Our minority retention rates are lower. Are they a first-generation student? That's another risk factor. Are they the first in their family to go to college? Sometimes that means they don't have the support they're going to need at home. Sometimes it means they don't have the guidance in their family to make it through those 4 years. Okay? Sometimes it means the family's going to be pulling at them to keep coming home and transfer to a school that may be closer by where they can live at home. So all of those factors can play into that first generation. Do they have an ACT score below a 21? Okay. If so, they may have trouble with academics here in college. They may struggle. Do they have a high school GPA below a 2.75? We know that the national data suggests that from a high school GPA to a college GPA, the drop is going to be about half a grade, so 0.5. So if a student has a 2.75, and that drop occurs, they're at a 2.25. They're dangerously close to not good academic standing. Okay? Are they undeclared? If they don't have a goal, if they don't have a purpose, they don't have a reason for being here, they don't know what they're going to do in 4 years, that's a risk factor. Okay? They haven't made a connection perhaps with the department. They're not sure why they're taking all these classes. They may depart. And then do they have a high financial need?